Hi, this is your host. Today's Top 10 Tuesday is about Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Barry Stapp Earp was born on March 19, 1848 in Illinois. His father died when Wyatt was just 2 years old, and his mother then married a man named Nicholas Clanton. Together they moved to a farm near the town of Buffalo, Missouri, where Wyatt grew up. On September 28, 1871, Earp and his brother Virgil, along with 2 others, were killed in a shootout with members of the notorious gang led by the Cook brothers. However, both Wyatt and Virgil survived and recovered. A reward had been placed on the heads of the Cook brothers. One of the most famous shootouts occurred in 1881 during the funeral of an outlaw named Johnny Ringo. Wyatt and his brothers attended the funeral in order to steal the casket, which contained valuable life insurance money. On October 25, 1881, the Earp brothers and their associates planned to free the jailed deputies by force. A shootout erupted in the street outside the jail, which has become known as the Gunfight at the Corral. 3 members of the Cowboys, including Morgan Earp, were killed along with one of the town's marshals. The Earp brothers survived and were suspended from further duty as lawmen in Tombstone. They spent the rest of their lives traveling the country, mostly working as entertainers and telling stories of their famous shootout. When they attempted to take the casket from the grave, they were confronted by a posse. A gunfight ensued, but the Earps were forced to retreat. When it was discovered that one of them had been killed, Wyatt received $1,000 for his share. And their associates, known as the Cowboys, got into a violent altercation with a group of gamblers at the Oriental Saloon. The gamblers were cowboys in town to collect on bets they had won against the Earps' associates during a poker game. The fight resulted in 4 deaths and 3 injuries. Despite the Earp boys being responsible, it was really Deputy Sheriff Billy Breckenridge who fired the fatal shots. Because of this, he and his deputies were arrested and charged with murder. He used this money to buy a ranch near San Bernardino, California. But less than 2 years later, he sold the property and moved to the booming mining town of Tombstone, Arizona. He was buried next to his wife and several members of his family in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in California. At the age of 16, he ran away from home after getting into a fight with his stepfather. He worked odd jobs for the next few years until the Civil War began. In 1861, he joined the Confederate Army and served in the 3rd Regiment, 1st Battalion, Missouri State Guard, under the alias of Wyatt Davis. In February 1862, during the Battle of Pea Ridge in Arkansas, Earp was seriously wounded and captured by Union forces. After being released from prison in 1863, he returned to Missouri, but soon headed west. Earp became friends with the owner of a saloon and pool hall and was hired as his bodyguard. This did not please the local law enforcement, as they wanted all weapons removed from the establishment. When Earp refused to comply, he was arrested for illegal possession of a weapon and spent the night in jail. The following day, he was fined $100 and released. That same day, Earp left town to avoid paying the fine. 3 weeks later, he returned to Tombstone with his brothers, Morgan and James, and some friends. They planned to rob the train carrying the payroll for the local mine. Unfortunately, the plan failed, and the gang was forced to flee. He spent time mining in Colorado and then moved to Kansas, where he became a cowboy, and also worked as a jailer, sheriff, and police officer. It was during this time that he developed his skills as a marksman. He was never in any trouble himself, but was known to shoot first and ask questions later. It's got him into trouble several times. In 1870, Earp moved to Texas and was hired as a deputy sheriff by Sheriff John B. Hauser of Lamar County. At the time, Tombstone was a lawless town ruled by the toughest men who made their living selling whiskey, gambling, or working in the mines. Now outlaws, they engaged in several robberies and gunfights with law enforcement over the next couple of years. Later that year, things came to a head when the Earp brothers, fearing that the brothers would kill the deputies while they were in custody. Townspeople formed a committee of safety and recruited Wyatt Earp to guard the jail. Wyatt Earp died on March 13, 1929, at the age of 80. Thank you for watching. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to our channel for more historical tales.